as in cases where poorly written software has allowed lethal doses of radiation to be delivered to patients during cancer therapy. The consequences of the brain's bugs can be equally wide-ranging, from simple illusions to annoying memory glitches to irrational decisions whose effects can just as likely be innocuous as fatal. If there is a bug in your favorite software program, or an important feature is absent, there is always hope that the issue will be remedied in the next version. But animals and humans have no such luxury. There are no instant fix patches, updates, or upgrades when it comes to the brain. If it were possible, what would be on the top of your brain upgrade list? When one asks a classroom of undergraduate students this question, invariably the answer is to have a better memory for the names, numbers, and facts that they are bombarded with, although a significant contingent of students ingenuously opts for mind reading. We have all struggled at some point to come up with the name of somebody we know, and the phrase, "You know, what's his name?" can be among the most used in any language. But complaining that you have a bad memory for names or numbers is a bit like whining about your smartphone functioning poorly underwater. The fact of the matter is that your brain was simply not built to store unrelated bits of information, such as lists of names and numbers. Think back to someone you met only once in your life, perhaps someone you sat next to on an airplane. If that person told you his name and profession, do you think you would be equally likely to remember both these pieces of information, or more likely to remember one over the other? In other words, are you an equal opportunity forgetter, or for some reason, are you more likely to forget names than professions? A number of studies have answered this question by showing volunteers pictures of faces, along with the surname and profession of each person depicted. When the same pictures were shown again during the test phase, subjects were more likely to remember people's professions than their names. One might venture that this is because the professions were simpler to remember for some reason. Perhaps they are more commonly used words, a factor known to facilitate recall. As a clever control, however, some of the words were used either as names or professions. For instance, baker, baker, or farmer, farmer, could have been used as the name or the occupation. Still, people were much more likely to remember that someone was a baker than that he was Mr. Baker. As another example of the quirks of human memory, listen to the following list of words: candy, tooth, sour, sugar, good, taste, nice, soda, chocolate, heart, cake, honey, eat, pie. Now, listen to them again, and take a few moments to try to memorize them. Candy, tooth, sour, sugar, good, taste, nice, soda, chocolate, heart, cake, honey, eat, pie. Which of the following words was on the list? Tofu, sweet, syrup, pterodactyl? Even if you were astute enough to realize that none of these four words was on the list, there is little doubt that sweet and syrup gave you more of a mental pause than tofu and pterodactyl. The reason is obvious. Sweet and syrup are related to most of the words on the list. Our propensity to confuse concepts that are closely associated with each other is not limited to sweets, but holds for names as well. People mistakenly call each other by the wrong name all the time, but the errors are not random. People have been known to call their current boyfriend or girlfriend by their ex's name, and I suspect my mother is not the only harried parent to have inadvertently called one child by the other's name, and my only sibling is a sister. We also confuse names that sound alike. During the 2008 presidential campaign, more than one person, including a presidential candidate, accidentally referred to Osama bin Laden as Barack Obama. Why would it be harder to remember that the person you met on the plane is named Baker than that he is a baker? Why are we prone to confuse words and names that are closely associated with each other? We will see that the answer to both these questions is a direct consequence of the associative architecture of the human brain.